The conversation around Shador Sanders has officially crossed the point of debate and entered the territory of reckoning. This is no longer just about whether he deserves reps or whether he should be starting over other quarterbacks on the Browns roster. That argument has already been settled on the field. What is unfolding now is far bigger. It is about how quickly reality is forcing the league to confront its own assumptions, biases, and evaluation failures. Because once you start asking why Shedeur was ever behind Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco, or Kenny Pickett in the first place, you inevitably arrive at a much more uncomfortable question. What exactly were people watching, and what were they choosing to ignore? For months, the discussion stayed trapped at the surface level. Fans argued about depth charts. Analysts debated patience. Coaches spoke about development and timing. But the moment Shedeur stepped onto the field with a game plan designed for him, the entire narrative shifted violently. The ball came out on time. Reads were decisive. Throws were precise. The offense did not look like it was surviving. It looked like it was functioning. And once that happened, the old explanations stopped holding up. You could no longer argue that he needed more time to learn. You could no longer claim he was too raw. You could no longer pretend the gap between him and the other quarterbacks was marginal. That is where the comparison to Caleb Williams becomes unavoidable. Because this is not about hype versus hype. This is about execution versus execution. When you watch Shedeur, you see a quarterback who processes quickly, who anticipates windows, who throws receivers open instead of reacting late. Accuracy is not just about completion percentage, it is about ball placement, timing, and trust. Shedeur consistently puts the ball where it needs to be, when it needs to be there. That skill translates at every level of football. It is not scheme-dependent. It is not opponent-dependent. It is quarterbacking. Caleb Williams entered the league with generational expectations, and rightfully so. His talent is undeniable. But early in his career, much of his success came from off-script brilliance. Escaping pressure, extending plays, creating outside structure. That ability is valuable, but it is also volatile. Shedeur's game is built differently. It is quieter, more controlled, less chaotic. And that difference matters when projecting long-term success. When people ask who plays on time better, who processes faster, the answer is becoming increasingly clear to anyone willing to watch honestly. What makes this situation even more remarkable is how early it is. Shedeur has only been a full starter for a matter of weeks. The first appearance barely counts, because the offense was not built for him. The game plan was not his. The reps were not his. Once that changed, once the offense was tailored to his strengths, the growth was immediate. That kind of acceleration is rare. Most rookies struggle just to survive. Shedeur looks like he is already dictating terms. This is why the conversation is shifting from potential to comparison. If Shedeur can line up across from Caleb Williams and outperform him, then the discussion is no longer hypothetical. At that point, you are comparing peers. Same age range, same league, same pressure, same stage. And when one quarterback consistently looks more comfortable, more decisive, and more efficient, it forces a reevaluation of everything that came before. The frustration now is not with Shedeur, it is with the organization around him. Kevin Stefanski's hesitation has become impossible to defend. This is not caution. This is paralysis. Keeping a quarterback like Shedeur on the sideline while cycling through options that do not elevate the offense is not just conservative, it is negligent. Coaches are paid to identify and develop talent. When the talent is this obvious and the response is still delay, it raises serious questions about vision and competence. What makes Shedeur's rise even more disruptive is that it challenges the unwritten rules the league has relied on for decades. He does not fit the traditional mold that decision-makers are comfortable with. His confidence is visible. His background is high profile. His swagger is unapologetic. And none of that has anything to do with whether he can play quarterback at an elite level. Winning franchises do not care how a quarterback dresses, talks, celebrates, or answers interview questions. They care about whether he can move the chains, protect the football, and win games. Shedeur is doing that already. He is not just flashing talent. He is producing results. Even in losses, the way he looks matters. Quarterbacks can lose games and still show they are the future. Shedur's poise, command, and control stand out regardless of the final score. He looks like someone the team can build around, not someone they need to protect from responsibility. The doubts that followed him into the league are starting to look absurd in hindsight. The same voices that questioned his maturity, his interviews, his confidence are now scrambling to reconcile what they see on Sundays. The film does not lie. His accuracy, timing, and decision-making are real. And those traits are exactly what teams spend years trying to develop. This is why the pressure is now squarely on the coaching staff. Shedeur is not just another rookie competing for snaps. He is the clearest path forward the Browns have had in years. Continuing to hesitate sends the wrong message to the locker room and the fan base. It suggests that comfort matters more than competence. That hierarchy matters more than performance. And that is how franchises stay stuck. The conversation around Stefanski's job security is no longer theoretical. When a coach fails to recognize the solution standing right in front of him, that failure becomes his legacy. Shedeur is not responsible for the Browns' struggles. If anything, he is the one thing that has injected clarity into a chaotic situation. Refusing to commit to him is not protecting the team. It is holding it back. What we are witnessing is the early stages of a narrative collapse. Shador Sanders is forcing the league to confront its own blind spots through performance alone. He is not asking for belief. He is earning it, and if this trajectory continues, the comparisons to Caleb Williams will only intensify. Not because of hype, but because of evidence. This story is far from over, but one thing is already clear. Shedeur is not just surviving the NFL. He is announcing himself. The question now is whether the Browns are willing to listen, or whether they will once again watch a franchise quarterback prove his worth somewhere else. Do you believe Shador Sanders has already proven he should be the unquestioned starter in Cleveland? And if he outperforms Caleb Williams head-to-head, does that change how the league should evaluate quarterback talent going forward? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to stay locked in on every development of this story, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you do not miss what happens next.